Hi everyone, I'm Imogen from Course Report, and we are a resource for researching which coding bootcamp is right for you. We have a directory of different coding schools, a blog, and interviews with founders, instructors, and students, all to help you work out which bootcamp you want to go to. I'm speaking with two graduates from Thinkful's full-time bootcamp, Connie and Kyle, who are going to tell me about their final project. Thinkful is a fully remote online coding bootcamp, and students take part from all over the country. Welcome, Connie and Kyle. Thanks so much for joining me today, and congratulations to you both on graduating from Thinkful.
Thank you.
Thanks, good to be here.
Cool. All right. Well, before we start the screen share, I wondered if you could tell me a bit about how you guys came up with the idea of building your final project.
Kyle, I think you should take this one.
Yeah, we just knew we wanted to make a video game because we weren't able to play video games for months during our curriculum because we were too busy. So we decided to make kind of like a gauntlet type dungeon crawler game, and somewhere along the way we just deviated from that and decided to make a game about just some pissed off raccoon that's like trying to kill farmers, and we named him Gerald. So yeah, I don't know, we just really wanted to we just really wanted to make just a random dungeon crawler 2D canvas game.
Yeah. So let me share my screen.
Okay.
Great. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
So this is our game. Well, you know, the start screen of our game. Some of the technologies we used were JavaScript and HTML5 Canvas, which was completely new to all of us. Here you have your mob. And so the premise is really simple. You're using your WASD keys and spacebar to, move around and shoot. I don't quite remember how many levels there are, but I think it's at least 5. And we have, a constant stream. Our treasure chests consist of garbage cans. And so, you collect them, you kind of destroy the mobs, and, so on and so forth. And I'll show you our death screen, which is "You're dead, sucker. Do you want to play again?" And so this was our game. We spent about 3 weeks on it. I'm not going to lie, it was initially an incredibly frustrating process. I think we went in not quite realizing how difficult creating a game is when you don't have any game developing knowledge. One of the difficult things that we encountered was really figuring out the algorithm for the mob, because you need a way for the mob to kind of be able to track where you are and follow you and, attack you. And so that was definitely, I think, one of the most difficult things that we encountered.
Cool. And how did you come up with the actual game design for like the characters and the graphics in general?
Right. So the graphics, like the background, the tile, this was pulled. These are sprites pulled from the actual Gauntlet game. So a lot of people have like these little individual tiles readily available that you can use, and you can kind of use a series of numbers to determine, like, do you want to use like a straight piece or this corner piece or this corner piece? But for the characters, it was just kind of looking for sprites that were available. I mean, to be honest with you, I just kind of came across a Kirby game and they had some sprites available. And so I was like, I just suggested to Kyle and Simon, our other teammate, and I was like, oh, how do you guys feel about having a raccoon? And everyone was like, sure. And so everything was just kind of random and on a whim, and somehow it all came together, I guess.
Cool. Oh, it looks awesome. I did have a play around with it the other day, but I didn't realize that the rubbish bins were treasure. I saw them there, but I thought, oh, they're just kind of, I don't know, decor.
Right.
I don't know. So is it kind of like they're in an alleyway or something, and the farmers are trying to kill the raccoon?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. And you were mentioning that you had to use quite a few technologies that were new to you. I was wondering how you were able to, learn those so quickly in order to build this project in that short time frame.
I think we basically needed to search out resources online, and there's just so many bad resources in general for like any technology, and especially when it comes to making games with HTML5 canvas. And so it was really frustrating. For like 3 solid days we were trying to get some kind of tutorial that would get us close to making this game, and we couldn't find one. And I knew that we just needed one unified basic starting point, and like somewhere around day 3 we found one. You basically have to like connect the dots of what you learn from each individual tutorial and start building off of that.
Yeah.
Cool. Did you have something you wanted to add, Connie?
No.
Okay. I was going to ask if what was kind of the biggest challenge or problem you had while building this, and how did you overcome that?
I would say that the biggest challenge really was starting. This is not covered by, in our full-time course. Game development is not covered at all. And so, because we wanted to try something new, something that we hadn't done before, the biggest challenge, honestly, was starting, and as Kyle said, was finding the correct resources that would actually be helpful. And so, one big piece of advice that we got was to, kind of pull a template from an online resource instead of trying to build something from scratch. Pull a really basic template and then refactor the code, in a way that, made it useful to us. And so having a template and, as Kyle said, finding a really good tutorial really, I think, made everything click eventually.
Cool, that's awesome. And what are your future plans now for Gerald the Raccoon? Are you going to keep working on it or adding more features or anything like that?
I think one future goal, I don't think either of us really have time right now, but one future goal is to kind of make it suitable for smaller screens. Like screen responsiveness would be a really interesting challenge to tackle in the future.
Yeah, I think it looks like the kind of game that would be really fun to play on mobile, definitely.
Right.
Because it's like got that simplicity that you need for a mobile game. That's really cool. That's awesome. Cool. All right. Well, I wanted to also ask you about when you were working on the game. How did you kind of collaborate on that remotely? Like, how were you able to kind of, tweak it and work on it together when you weren't in the same room?
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Kyle.
Okay. We just frequently did conference calls and shared screen, and we talked on Slack all the time, and we used Screen Hero. We just constantly kept each other updated, and we use GitHub, of course, to collaborate. So
cool. Awesome.